can survive without egg. It's not food, it's not water. Hello and welcome to my side of the internet. I am Camaa, the eccentric diva, and on this channel we talk about writing, publishing, books, sex, and sex education. If this is your first time on this channel, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you and welcome. And for returning subscribers, welcome back. You know how we do it. Please like, comment, and share with a friend. Let them see what's up. What are we doing? So today, I just want to let you know that I read 100 books. Yes, you saw that. 100 books, not 100, more than 100 books actually this year. Good to tell you that I read 100, but I actually read more than 100 books this year. And I am going to be sharing with you my top and favorite books of 2022. So I don't want to say my top favorite books of 2022. I just want to I categorize them into different categories, like books that made me cry, books that I was rolling my eyes all through, books that had me like, oh geez, books that had me angry, like I wanted to fling my phone or the paperback like across the room and all that. So that's how I've categorized it. So I hope you stay put and enjoy, and also share with me your bookish experiences. A lot of people say they want to become writers, they want to become authors, but they don't spend their time reading books, and which is a bad thing, because if you read a lot, you would actually learn a lot. You learn about writing styles, you learn about you know, how to tell a story. You just learn better. You know what you like and what you don't. When you read the good, you read the bad, you read the ugly, you read the best. It gives you more insight as to writing. Like these days when I read, before I just read like forward march, but these days whenever I read, it's like I'm reading to critique, so I have to automatically tell my brain, don't read to critique, read to enjoy the story first, then read to critique, and you know, try to make sense of this. I love realistic stories, even though I want to be teleported into another world, but at the same time, like, let the story be real. Even if you're teleporting me into another world, I don't want it to be something that I'm imagining and I'm like, are you kidding me right now? So I'm going to have a lot of books on this shelf. Please take note that this is not me bashing the author. I have no business with the author. My business is with the book and the characters within the book, because those characters would have told the author to do something different with their life, but they did not. So this is between me, the characters within the books, and the books. Thank you very much for watching. So I did some scribblings here. I had gone through my Goodreads to, like, you know, refresh my memory as to which book can you remember, which book have you forgotten. So the first one I'll start with will be books that when I read them as a writer, as an author, I was like, wow, I want to write something like that. This is like impressive. Not because of the storyline or anything. Oh yes, part of it, but like the way the author found a way to, you know, merge different times and people, multiple people. I love that stuff. Like, I think I love family sagas. I think I mentioned in the video of mine, I love family sagas where there are so many people in the mix and the author finds a way to make you know everybody. Like, you become family with them. Like, you know whose son is whose and who is doing what, and even though there are 500,000 people, you know who is who. That is awesome storytelling, and it's not easy to do that. So the first one would be, for that category, I'll give it to Jackie Collins. I read a book for the first time this year, and I think it was Lucky, not Chances, Lucky. I read Lucky this year. If I want to, I don't want to open Goodreads because I'll get carried away. So I read it at Lucky or Chances. You can check my Goodreads page, to be in the description below, or just look for me on Goodreads. I read Chances and I was like, wow, how was this lady able to, you know, merge all these characters together and make them make sense in my head. I am concerned about all the characters. Like, there were about 6 or 7 of them, more than that actually, that we're following back to back, and how she made all of them come together. And another story that I liked that way would be Homegoing by Ya Gayasi, Oyagiasi. I don't know how to pronounce that last name, but I won't say it was as twisted as Jackie Collins's book. But the fact that she did that type of research to, because hers was a parallel stretch, while Jackie Collins was like a web kind of. I love the webby parts, but the fact that this was like historical research and all that with Yagasi, it made me like, wow, okay, this lady, this flesh and bone, flesh and blood did not reveal this onto you, because she did a lot of research on that book. But I think she did it while studying. So like kudos to homegoing. Then books that made me roll my eyes. Jeez. As I was reading these books, the characters were just doing things that I was like, what is your own? Yeah, spoiler alert. Please, if I don't mention it before, now you have spoiler alert. And that would be the last thing it told me. If you've read the last thing it told me, I can't remember the author's name. I was just like, they were so, would I call it plot holes or something? I was just like, nah, like seriously, but I find it hard to DNF books, because as a writer, I know those, everything it takes to put a book all together. So I try my possible best, no matter how stressful that book might be to me. I finish it because I learn a lot from it. I know, okay, I don't want to write like this, I don't want to make this mistake. So there's that. Then there's also Blessed by Malachi. Blessed by Malachi, if you've read that book, I think it's by Cheryl Green. I was just like, are you kidding me right now? Like seriously, I don't want to give too much spoilers, but yeah, I was rolling my eyes all through, like seriously. And then I also read this one. I've read a lot of Stephanie Nicole Norris's book. Okay, not a lot, but at least I read almost 5 of her books. And I read the one she did for the triplets, like they are happily ever after, something like that. I can't remember the title, Lord have mercy. I can't remember the title, but it's a short story kind of that follows the life of the Alexander Rose daughters, the triplets, and they were supposed to keep themselves chaste before the wedding day, which is supposed to be like within 7 days. They were not supposed to have any sexual intercourse with their partners or their fiancés. And these ladies, they were acting like if they did not see man or lie down on bed with man, they will be taken to the hospital. So it was like, I was just like seriously, are you kidding me right now? Like seriously, you guys are doing this? Like the characters were just like, oh, like you can survive without it. It's not food, it's not water. You can survive without it. It's not food, it's not water. It's not water. Let them rest, go and get married. And then the next category would be books with no plots but smut. I read books with a lot of smut, but they had plots. But these are books with no plots but smut. And I'll give it up. I think so, it's the only book in the category, and that would be Bastard Betrayal by Kathy Roberts. Like, the book was just everywhere and nowhere. And the next time I'm seeing the lady is going to go and make it by giving. I'm like, what kind of, like, I don't even know what's happening. You guys don't fuck it up and down. Okay, this is just me. Like that's why I don't think I want to be a bookstagrammer, because people will come for me. So I don't want to be comats. But yeah, that book was just, and I saw a lot of reviews where people were hyping and hailing the book, and I'm like, oh, you guys must definitely be smut lovers, because I love plots that has, or smut that has plots. If there's no plots, then the smut is just like it's just like free money. But when I see that you're working to get the money, it makes sense to me. But plot with like, it was just I don't know. I don't know. Then another book, okay, that made me angry. A couple of books made me angry this year, and 2 were by Adesuwa Woman Wikedi, and that's Complicated Kind of Love and Call Me Legachi. The ladies in these books were just so, I don't know, they were so in love. That was in the beginning of the story though. And they were just like, oh, if it's not you, I will die. If it's not you, like, seriously, there are so many men out there. Okay, for Legacy, she wasn't like established. If she was a banker, for crying out loud. Then there's the other lady, what's her name? It starts with B or something. And she was just like a fool for love. Like, what kind of love is that? I don't care if it was a childhood crush. Like, do something, move. And then I felt like killing the guys too that were causing those women unnecessary stress. And I'm like, yeah, jeez. But it shows that it was good writing. Then I think Blossom in Winter, I believe, by Agnes Kaye. And I was just like, dude, make a choice. Like, it's almost felt like a reverse RM kind of book. This guy was in love with the wife he married back home in Nigeria, and in love with the woman he married in another country, and now the woman he married back home in Nigeria is here in this country, and he cannot even separate between, okay, this is my real wife and this is the fake wife, and he's trying to eat his cake and have it. And I'm like, dude, seriously? And when he's with one, he's like, oh my, the love of my life, I really love her. That's his internal thought, not like he's telling her. And he's with this other person and he's like, oh, he loves this one drama, he just can't do without. And I'm like, dude, pick a hustle, like. And the ladies too, like, okay, one was ignorant, the other one wasn't ignorant. The one that wasn't ignorant, I expected her to, like, make a move for herself and for her life. I was just doing all the, oh, I want to have this baby. And I'm like, dude, this guy is not a billionaire or something. Like, the only time I feel a woman should kill herself on top having, which is still not right, because you have the child to consider. But the only time I feel a woman should be killing herself over she wants to have a baby for a man is if the man is a billionaire that if he removes 10 billion I give you, if it's not shaky, man, it's not shaky, like everybody will be happy. But like those characters were just okay. I need to calm down. I'm talking too fast, right? Next up will be the honest book I read. The honest book I read, I will give it up to Agnes Kaye again for The Blossom in Winter. I hope that's the book title I read, because I think there are a couple of them. And then Eyes on Me by Sarah Katz or Kitts. I don't know if it's Sarah Kitts or Sarah Katz. Gosh, the book had plots and it had like a lot of steam and spice in it. So the characters were unnecessarily horny and doing crazy stuff, which I actually liked. I liked. And also Call Me Jamila as well. So that's my book. Like the characters were just all over the place trying to get it on and get it well. So that's a yeah for me. And then books that made me question like faith and religion and had me thinking about life and all that were Homegoing by Yagasi. Okay, mainly that, and that also had me questioning like the afterlife and all that. Okay, let's just stick to Yagasi with Homegoing. Then the next category will be books that made me cry. Pew, pew. Yeah, I cried a couple of times this year, and I think on a normal day I wouldn't have cried, but because of the loss I endured this year, any little thing that has to do with loss of a parent or something like that, I start tearing up and feeling emotional, because like it's different when you read it without feeling that type of loss, but when you've experienced that type of loss and it's so dear and close to you, when you read stuff like that, you feel it. So that's why I also appreciate trigger warnings when I'm about to pick up a book. So very, very important. Cheers to authors out there that put trigger warnings. Like for me, I put my trigger warnings on the sites where you buy. But if you purchase the book, you online, you see the trigger warnings there. And yeah, there's that. So books that made me cry were Crying in H Mats. I cried, and I had not even felt lost then when I read the book, I believe, but because of the situation, this character was not, it was an autobiography, so the loss the author was going through, I felt that. And then there's also The Book Thief. I felt that as well too, by I can't remember his name, but I know there's a mark in his name. The Book Thief, the one they turned into a movie. Then there's I'll Be Home for Christmas by Zayn. I cried for that because it just, it pricked my heart. I was just like, oh, ow. Like a pew. I felt it. But yeah, that's that for books that made me cry. Books that I read about money, I think you should also read. I didn't really read much non-fiction this year. Okay, I did mainly writing, but outside of writing, the only book I think I read that I would say I would recommend is Investing. Let me get the exact title because I don't know how to put those titles in my head. So it's mainly about like investing and investment. So the title of this one is The Psychology of Money. So that was what I read this year. And then books that made me laugh out loud this year would be Lucy's Scores. I've forgotten the title. The Things We Never Get Over. I have my issues with the book, but it made me laugh. Same thing with The Unhoneymooners by Kristen and Lauren. I have my issues with the book, but it also made me laugh at some point. So those are laugh out loud books. And also, which other book made me laugh this year? Oh yeah, Bottom Belly. My book made me laugh this year because there are a couple of scenes there that are hilarious. Then books, I think I'm wrapping up right now. Books that made my eyes roll. Okay, I shared that already. Finally, books that are my all-time favorites for this year. Number one, you already know it if you follow me on Instagram and TikTok. The Invisible Life of Adela. I love that. I love that. It's kind of like fantasy. Oh, there's one book I forgot to mention about books that made me angry, and that would be, what's this Oli Black's book, The Cruel Prince. Ugh. 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 But yeah, all-time favorites: Invisible Life of Adela Rue and Gaga Crazy, my book. So that's all for like the different categories. I'll place the books that I read, over 100 books. These are the ones I can like remember top of mind and top of head. For writers books, I would advise you to go and get the Chris Fox's series and read them up, and you know, learn about your craft and trade as a self-published author. That being said, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, now is the time to do so. If you love content like this, let me hear from you. Drop a comment, like, share, and I'll see you in the next video, where I'll be sharing with you 5 African authors you shouldn't be sleeping on right now. Ciao, ciao. Bye-bye.